Hey, it's Michael Kosta. This is the Tennis Anyone podcast, Monday, July 27th. Thank you for listening. Tennis is in this weird calendar week where there's clay and there's grass. It almost feels like a violation to the sport to have grass and clay in the same week. United States politics is in an unprecedented event. I mean, in the past 10 days, we've had a former president who is a major party's nominee almost get killed. Okay. 8 shots from a 20-year-old boy who purchased or whose father purchased an assault style rifle. I mean, it is fitting if it's Republicans that get hurt by the AR-15 style assault weapon. Keep in mind, I'm not saying I want that, but if there's a party that loves guns, it's that party. We also had the current president, the current president of the United States, based off of such a piss poor performance in a debate and also by public pressure, drop out, an incumbent president drop out of the race. The only person who has ever beaten Donald Trump in a campaign dropped out voluntarily. It's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. This is the world we live in. This is what two-party politics gets you. It's tribal. It is football. It's back and forth, back and forth. And now it looks like Kamala Harris. And a lot has to happen because of nomination, but I really hope that this country and this party can get their shit together and put forth in a competitive election. Because if France can do it in 4 weeks, tell me that we don't need 2 years of this shit. And maybe in some odd way, it'll be of benefit and of service to the Democratic Party that people only get. I mean, we're still going to get August, September, October, November, 4 months. For the people that want a straight white male as president, this one hurts. For the people that want a black woman, this is great. The thing that scares me always is this country is big and this country is white. And if you live in Brooklyn, you don't always see that. If you live in Los Angeles, you don't always see that. But even when I go home to Ann Arbor, Michigan, a relatively progressive, highly, institutional, educated town, I am blown away at how white it all seems. You go to Chicago, depending on where you are, it's like, holy shit, everybody's white here. So I think it's a little bit bullshit that people are saying what I'm saying right now about Kamala Harris, because it's like, well, fucking grow up, America. You got to assume that she's the vice president for a reason. I do think Donald Trump's going to have issues because he sucks on the abortion thing. He just keeps saying states' rights, states' rights. And that's the same thing that, they would say about racism. It's like, well, no, at some point the federal government has to step in and say, no, this isn't okay. If some states are going to decide to be racist. So you can't do that. And there's something interesting about Kamala being a prosecutor, because it's the liberals that are so bad on crime. He's going to have a lot of tricks up his sleeve, as he does. He's very good at his job. Donald Trump, I was amazed at how his speech did not unify at the convention. And one thing that's worth noting, most Americans are not paying attention to the presidential race until Labor Day, till September. So here I am digging in, watching this. And why am I watching this? Because I work at The Daily Show. That's why. I was always paying attention to this stuff, but I wasn't sitting and watching the Republican National Convention. I was in Milwaukee when Trump got shot, and then flew home because we were not about to go make fun of Republicans when their Lord and Savior, their king, which is what he is to them and what he wants to be, is the monarch of the United States, was shot in the ear. Anyways, so crazy, crazy, crazy times. Funny how Kamala might get this opportunity. It's very interesting in life how you don't feel like anything's happening for you. I mean, if the last I checked on Kamala, it was all these word salad TikToks, and she was quote unquote put in charge of the border, which seemed like Biden was just trying to push that off on her because it was a fucking mess. And yet, as soon as Biden can't complete a sentence at the debate, people start going, Kamala Harris. I actually like Kamala Harris. It's fun to watch her walk down the tarmac airplane steps and look like a young person. She knows how to carry herself. I get the sense that she's not going to take Donald Trump's shit. I mean, that's what really the Dems want, right? I think what frustrated so many Dems at the debate was that Trump was lying so much and the Dems leader wasn't able to go, these are fucking lies, dude. So I think the Dems want someone that can put up a fight. Emphasis on fight. It's like, yeah, you just want the bullshit to be called out. And interesting time in the United States. We're a part of it, whether you like it or not, everybody. Whether you like it or not that you are a part of this historical moment, you are. It's going to happen. So I would say register to vote now. Start paying attention to your local race. It's not just about the presidency. It's very visceral, the presidency. We spoke about it last week on this podcast. Keep in mind that JFK, RFK, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King were all killed within 5 years of each other. This assassination attempt on Donald Trump is not the end. It's probably the middle. I'm not suggesting that political violence is going to happen. I'm suggesting, though, that it feels more like copycat shit happens. We stepped into a new world with the Trump assassination attempt, and it's on people's minds. And unless we turn it down, and that's what Trump's speech was supposed to be. It was supposed to be about unity, or at least I shouldn't say it was supposed to be. It was sold that way. Maybe that was just wishful thinking. Maybe people just wanted it to be unifying. And what's funny when you hear people's critique of that speech, it was like, well, he did it in the beginning. He actually didn't do it in the beginning. In the beginning, he was just somber, talking about someone trying to kill him, which made him look and appear human. He never, ever said, someone tried to kill me because of our country's rhetoric, our tone, our extremism. We shouldn't do that. No, he said the Dems were to blame, frankly. So here we are, back at it again. I did a joke the other night that I liked, and I want to play it for you and tell me what you think. This is at the New York Comedy Club, 4th Street and 2nd Avenue. Tuesday nights, I do new jokes, and I'll do it again this Tuesday night, new jokes. And it's, use code Nice Try. You get $10 tickets. But what do you think of this? This is about Trump and the debate still. I know some of you are over politics. We'll get to tennis in a second. But and we talk about Trump and we talk about Obama. So stick with it. The biggest lie that Donald Trump told in that debate was that he had won 2 golf tournaments this year. Have you seen his swing? I mean, I'm a tennis guy, but I understand momentum and circular, like rotation. You ever seen Trump swing? First of all, he sits like this and the belly just it pulsates into the, he rests the driver in his belly fat. Oh, you won too. Also, you fucking idiot, Donald Trump. You think everyone's not just letting you win? You're the most powerful person in the United States.
You know, it's like they got a little putt left. Oh, that's you got it, Mr. President. I loved how Barack Obama, too, like everybody said he was so good at basketball. No shit. Who's going to foul Barack Obama, dude? Who's going to be like, if Obama comes in the paint, like, I want you to knock him down. It's the President of the United States. Oh, he's actually quite good. No shit, he's quite good. He airballs, and you like tell all your friends, like, tell him it was a swish. Tell him it was a swish. You know what I hate? Because I have played second fiddle. I played third fiddle, fourth fiddle, fifth fiddle a lot in my life. And that's fine. I love it, and it's great. I'm here to be a support and a good person. But I hate when, like, the leader, the number one, doesn't realize that everyone is just stroking their ego all the time. That's what I hate. I hate that. Thank you.
Yeah. There's nothing more annoying when the person who's everyone's ass is kissing thinks it's genuine. You know, all of you work jobs. Donald Trump does this all the time. He loves me. JD Vance loves me. Dude, you know, everyone has a boss. I mean, I have worked for so many different bosses and TV show people that are above me. And it really sucks because this is such, man, some of these comics at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles who are now arena comics and way more money than me and sell way more tickets and are the comics who, whenever someone comes over to my house to fix something like the cable or the roof or the front door electronic system's broken and they somehow find out I do comedy, they ask me if I'm a fan of these people, right? And I'm not even mad at the I mean, I am a little bit because I'm annoyed that some guy's there fixing my cable and he's like, he doesn't know any idea who I am, but he loves this fucking terrible comic who is popular, much like Bud Light is a popular beer. But at the Comedy Store, there would be these tastemakers, leaders, and they would have these hanger-ons. And you know, it really bothers me when people have these hanger-ons and they laugh extra hard at their jokes but then they get hired and then they get stuff. And I always have my own dad's voice in my head that was like, don't put up with that shit. Don't be an ass kisser. Don't, you know, it was hard for him to fake stuff. It's hard for me to fake stuff. So then I don't fake stuff. I don't fake liking you no, of course, you know, I like you. I don't fake being in love with you or thinking you're a genius. And then it looks like you're being shitty. And there is such a fine line between networking, ass kissing, being genuine. It's hard, isn't it, everybody? It's hard. And this is one of my favorite things about sport is you don't have to do this shit. If you are skilled, Carlos Alcaraz did not network his way into the Wimbledon final. He might have networked his way into a Rolex sponsorship, arguably not. He might, you know, some of the commentators on Tennis Channel might have networked their way into an audition or even a job. But when something is solely merit-based, like sport, in particular tennis, I just love how you can't argue with that result. That's the result. The score was 6-2, 6-3. It doesn't matter that you knew Rafael Nadal. So, now, if you're the president of the United States and you're playing golf and you think, by the way, he didn't win 2 tournaments as the president. He won 2 tournaments as a former president. But come on, dude. Come on. You think when your ball goes in the fucking rough, nobody's kicking it out for you? Shit you don't even see. Oh, what a drive, Donald. We thought it went into the tree, but it actually popped up in the middle of the fairway. What a shot. Barack Obama driving to the lane and everybody's like, oh, there was like fake grunting, but as they actually like step back, oh my God, 6 spin move, Barack. And here's the thing. I fall a victim to this too. I mean, I'm making fun of it, but I like, and this is where, you know, I like when someone likes me. I like when a young comic tells me what a great joke I just did. We all like that. We're all can fall a victim to that. And tell me, ladies and gentlemen, how do you handle that? How do you handle that? I guess you have to decide if it comes on too strong. Well, I don't buy it. I think you're kissing my ass because you need something or want something. But if it's done subtly and nicely, I like that guy. He's a good guy. In comedy, lots of times someone will be like, I like that guy. But really what that means is that guy likes me. Oh, I'm aware that guy likes me. And that's why I like him. Oh, you know what? That guy does have great taste because he loves me. So that's where we're at. Let's go through these results. It's kind of crazy, and I only have men's results right now, but we just had the Newport 250, which I went all the way back in the draw because Marcos Giron, did I say it right? I never say it right. I fucking never say it right.
Sorry. Marcos Giron. Marcos Giron.
Marcos Giron won over Alex Mickelson.
Alex Mickelson.
Thanks for saying it twice. In the final, 2 Americans. Then I go to the semifinals, and it's Riley Opelka versus, who got a wild card, versus Mickelson, versus Eubanks, versus Giron. So those are 4 Americans. Then I went to the quarters, and it's Opelka, McDonald, Mickelson, this guy, who's also American.
Alexander Kovacevic.
Finally, we get an Australian. This is on grass versus Chris Eubanks. So we had to go all the way back to the quarters, and we had 2 Australians and 6 Americans. This is obviously in a very American tournament. It's on grass. But Marcos Giron won that 7-5 in the third over Mickelson. Then we had on clay, Sasha Zverev lost 7-6 in the third to the French Arthur Fils.
Arthur Fils.
Arthur Fils. By the way, what's all this Paris that there's shit in the river? You notice all this? The Olympics are coming up. I'm not a big fan of Olympic tennis. We already have Olympic tennis every year, 4 times, called Grand Slams. Arthur Fils. But the big thing, the mayor swam in the river to prove that it didn't have shit in it. So they could use the river for swimming or something. I don't know. And I'm just like, dude, people swim in the East. I Google this once a year. I Google, can you swim in the Hudson River? Can you swim in the East River? And it's like, you can. It literally says don't ingest the water. Oh, so let me just swim with a mask on, which is basically scuba diving. All right, so that was Hamburg. Arthur Fils won in the finals there. That was a 500. Then we have this Swiss Open, which was won by Berrettini, which is outdoor clay, 250. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned this because, we haven't heard from him. He got injured. He beat Tsitsipas in the semis. He beat Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-6 in the quarters. I mean, this is no joke. This is a legit tournament. So is he back, baby? And that's on clay. That's tough as hell to win on clay. So let's hope that Berrettini's back. I think it was last U.S. Open. I watched him, and he pulled out with an injury right after that. So it's been a long, get back for him. Looking forward to the U.S. Open. It should be interesting to see. At this point, we have Medvedev won the Australian. Carlos Alcaraz won the French and Wimbledon, which is just crazy to win those 2 fucking tournaments. So Alcaraz definitely be our favorite. I said Medvedev won, but Jannik Sinner actually won the Australian. So we got the young men coming up. We also had another tournament. We had the Nordea Open in Sweden, which was outdoor clay. And guess who won that? Who cares? Guess who lost in the finals? Rafael Nadal. 3-2 as a wild card. Let's look at his draw. Did he beat anybody good? He beat a qualifier in the quarters. In the round of 16, he beat Navone in 3 sets. His body must be okay. Round of 32, he beat Borg. Tell me that's Borg. Another wild card. He played another wild card, Leo Borg. And I don't even know if that is Bjorn Borg's son, but I just saw the picture. It is. And he's 533 in the world. God, it's tough. It's tough to be in the, shadow of your father. So he beats Borg first round. He beats Cam Norrie, good win, 4-4, round of 16. Then he beats Navone, 5 in the third. Then he beats Adjukovic, 6-4 in the third. He's winning some 3-set matches. Rafael Nadal. And then he loses 3-2 in the final. So kind of interesting, right? Kind of interesting, the winners this week. Marcos Giron, Archer-Fils, Berrettini, and Nadal lost in the final. Kind of interesting. Let's see how Leo Borg says his name. It doesn't even have pronunciation. So, yeah, that's all interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. What else did I want to share with you? Oh, I have a little bit of this Roger Federer commencement speech where he spoke on the tree stump. A lot of people, a lot of you guys have been sending this to me. Thank you for that. I think there's one moment in particular that I really love that I'm going to play for you. I do have to mention that I'll be at Comedy at the Carlson in Rochester, New York, in August 8, 9, that weekend. I'll be there. So if you're anywhere near Rochester, New York, Finger Lakes, I'll be there. Okay? A lot of people message me, say, hey, when are you going to come here? I'm going to be in Rochester, New York. I'm hosting The Daily Show in August. I'm also hosting a night at the Democratic National Convention. It's just exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting shit is happening in my world, and I am very happy that you get to listen to this and that I get to do this because I've still made negative $11,000 on the Tennis Anyone podcast. But I thank you for listening, and I thank you for sharing it. And someday, I feel better after I do this podcast. I feel better. Sometimes it takes a lot of setup. There's a lot of different shit I got to plug in. And sometimes as I'm doing it, I'm going, you could just talk into your iPhone, but it's like, then you do it and you're like, oh, it feels good to talk. It feels good. And then people come up and they say, I heard that. That was cool. I like that. Thanks for saying that. It's like, hey, thank you. Thank you. This is Roger Federer. This is great. It's 2 minutes. Take a listen. You can watch the whole commencement speech on YouTube. I'm not a big fan of everybody posting everyone's commencement speech on YouTube. I think a lot of that should just be private for the students. But this is great. Take a listen.
Tennis, perfection is impossible.
Sorry, I cut it off. Tennis, perfection is impossible.
Tennis, perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches.
By the way, that's fucking nuts. To win 80% of your matches is fucking nuts.
Now, I have a question for you. What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches? Only 54%. In other words, even top-ranked tennis players win barely more than half of the points they play.
Isn't that crazy? This guy is one of the best ever. He won 80% of his matches, but only 54% of his points. Isn't that crazy? It's one of my favorite parts about tennis. It's like how major league hitters, can only get on base 3 out of 10 times, or they actually get a hit 3 out of 10 times, and they're considered Hall of Famers. It's just the idea that you will fail or that your opponent will succeed, or the combination of your failure and their success is inevitable, is just so lovely. And it's such a great reflection on the sport and on how to approach our lives. I just dropped a fucking knowledge bomb on you guys.
When you lose every second point on average, you learn not to dwell on every shot. You teach yourself to think, okay, I double faulted, it's only a point. Okay, I came to the net and I got passed again, it's only a point. Even a great shot, an overhead backhand smash that ends up on ESPN's top 10 playlist, that too is just a point. So and here's why I'm telling you this.
This kind of reminds me of the Rudyard Kipling. If you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters the same. It is very true in the sport of tennis that an unbelievable backhand smash is 15 love. It's kind of the same as a second serve return error. It's 15 love. But what would be very interesting, very, 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 very interesting is if Roger Federer told us pressure points, break points, 30 all points, what his percentage of 1 points was. That would blow my mind. I bet you it's not 54%. It might be. I might be wrong. But you lump in those 15 alls and the love 15s, but I have a feeling, a tendency to believe that the greatest players play their greatest at the greatest points.
When you're playing a point, it has to be the most important thing in the world, and it is. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. This mindset is really crucial because it frees you to fully commit to the next point and the next point after that with intensity, clarity, and focus. The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose. A point, a match, a season, a job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. And it's natural when you're down to doubt yourself and to feel sorry for yourself. And by the way, your opponents have self-doubt too. Don't ever forget that.
I love that. Love that. Remember, what did my friend Trevor Price always say? He was defensive end for the Ravens and the Broncos. He said, they pay the other guy also. You know that running back that I'm paid a lot of money to stop? Well, they pay him a lot of money to run around me. They pay the other guy also. So give yourself some grace. Try to eliminate, your unforced errors, but don't forget that guy's pretty fucking good also.
But negative energy is wasted energy. You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, the sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it, cry it out if you need to, and then force a smile. You move on, be relentless, adapt and grow, work harder, work smarter. Remember, work smarter.
Watch what?
Adapt and grow. Adapt and grow. Adapt and grow. I'm saying that to myself into the camera right now. You can say it to yourself too. Adapt and grow. And part of adapting is recognizing what happened. I love how he said force a smile. I love how he said cry it out. He fucking cried, that guy. They used to make fun of him because he cried. It used to be considered pop culture that Roger Federer cried. Yeah, because it was important to him. Adapt. I already screwed it up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tennis Anyone podcast. Good luck, Kamala Harris or the Democrats or whatever the hell's going on. It would just be fun to have a real election where somebody can call out Trump on his bullshit, because you shouldn't just be able to lie all the time. But style is important, apparently, and that's the reality. I would rather finish with a Roger Federer. Here's a new video from here than with Trump. Effortless is a myth. Oh yeah, I heard this one too. Let's listen to it.
Effortless is a myth. I mean it. I say that as someone who has heard that word a lot. Effortless. People would say my play was effortless. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, they meant it as a compliment. But it used to frustrate me when they would say he barely broke a sweat. Or he's even trying. The truth is, I had to work very hard to make it look easy. But then I realized winning effortlessly is the ultimate achievement. I got that reputation because my warm-ups at the tournaments were so casual that people didn't think I'd been training hard. But I had been working hard before the tournament when nobody was watching. Hopefully, like me, you learned that effortless is a myth. I didn't get where I got on pure talent alone. I got there by trying to outwork my opponents. I believed in myself, but belief in yourself has to be earned.
Belief in yourself has to be earned. So he would do that work so he could have the self-belief. Effortless is a myth. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tennis Anyone podcast. Thank you for listening. Please leave a rating and review. Please come see me, Rochester, New York, Comedy at the Carlson, or come see me in the city Tuesday nights at New York Comedy Club, Nice Try New Joke Night, or come get tickets to see Daily Show that I'll be hosting in August. It's posted on their website. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sharing this. Stay safe out there. Register to vote. Be on a jury. Donate blood. Be of service to your family and this community that you live in. We are all connected. Even the person that doesn't look or sound like you or believe in the same God or say offensive words, we're all connected and we all affect each other. Game, set, match. Kosta.